Hey guys, I'm Bipolar Barbie and this is Northy. We're in the car, we're parked, so don't worry, I'm not videoing, YouTubing while driving. I suffer multiple mental illnesses, particularly bipolar 2 disorder, which is seasonal affective. So in summer I tend to get manic highs, and winter I get extremely depressed to where I'm completely suicidal. I suffer borderline personality disorder. I suffer complex trauma, extreme anxiety, panic attacks, post-traumatic stress disorder, and premenstrual dysphoric disorder, which is like a hormone condition. Basically, I think my brain is just really sensitive to change really, and I've learnt that routine is really important, because any change in my life triggers instability, and I've been unstable for a very long time. And it was about 3 months ago where I hit rock bottom. I was about to be homeless. Another relationship had ended with an abusive ex. I'd basically hit the lowest that I had been, and I thought that 12 months before that was the lowest that I'd been, but I guess I made a commitment to myself that I would do everything in my power to work on my mental illness. So for 12 months, I did everything that I thought was within my power to focus on my mental illness. I saw therapists, I saw GPs, I saw psychiatrists. Basically every week or twice a week I was seeing someone, a doctor. I was taking my medication. I was being really good. And things still just weren't working out for me. I really was still struggling. I even, I found an employer that I was really open with about my illness, and they've been really great to me. And, I could sort of pick my own work schedule based on how I was feeling, and that made things a lot easier, but it was still really hard. It was when I hit rock bottom this year that I realized the last 6 years of my life have been a complete write-off. I would have gotten further in life if I had been in a coma for the past 6 years. And I'd just done so much damage to myself, to people around me. Like, life had just fallen apart, and I kind of felt like I was sitting in the rubble, and there was a path of destruction that just led straight up to me. And I thought, I am not going to let my illness take another 6 years away from me. I am not going to get 6 years from now and look back and think, oh my God, it's taken 10, 12 years of my life from me. It was not going to take one more day from me. So I went on a mission to find answers, to find a way that I could stop my mental illness from having complete and utter control of me and my life and everything that happened. I realized I had not been stable since I had my first manic episode, and maybe I hadn't even been stable my whole entire life. In the words of my father, you were different from the moment that you were born. Looking back in my old journals from when I was a child, I used to describe my life as a roller coaster. I used to say really good things happened to me, and then really bad things happened to me. Little did I know I was actually describing bipolar disorder. But it wasn't until I hit late teens, early 20s, when my brain fully developed, that my illness sort of found its extreme form. And that's when it really started affecting me. And I started an Instagram about 3 months ago, about the same time that I checked myself into a psych ward. And I've been in psych wards many times before. This was the first time that I checked myself in for a manic episode, because I used to love the highs. But what would happen is I'd enjoy the highs too much. I'd not want to take my medication anymore. And I would basically go up too high, to the point where the racing thoughts were so extreme. I hadn't slept in like weeks. I wasn't eating. I was just losing my mind. And then I would start to self-medicate with drugs and alcohol. And I would then fall into a very, very low depression, which I would continue to self-medicate. I don't say that I was a drug addict or an alcoholic, because it wasn't the alcohol, the drugs that I was addicted to. It was the escape. People used to criticize me for what I was doing, but nobody asked me why. And the truth is, if they had asked why, I would have told them that each day I wake up, and I think today it's going to happen. Today, I'm going to kill myself. And the only way I could get through the day without killing myself, because I didn't want to kill myself, I just couldn't live like this anymore. So at least drugs and alcohol gave me a way that I could live and not experience the horrific symptoms of being mentally ill. And I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want my illness to force me to live a certain way. I don't want it to have the control over my life that it did. I wanted to get my life back. I wanted to be in control. I was sick of waking up after a really bad episode and just thinking, who the fuck did that? Like, what the hell was that about? It would be like I was constantly made to clean up after a party I didn't attend. Like, depressed me and manic me were two completely different extremes, and I didn't even blame my boyfriends and friends and people who didn't want to be around me, because people only loved manic me. People only liked confident me, happy me, happy me, when really I was just elated and manic. And when I got depressed, people were like, this isn't you, you're not happy. Just put a smile on your face. Just do this, just do that. And it's like, dude, it's not that easy living with a mental illness. And I'm not going to let anyone believe that it's easy, because in fact, it's the hardest thing you'll ever do in your life. And managing your illness, accepting your illness, and educating yourself about your illness is so vitally important. It's also extremely difficult. And I used to think not one person had ever spoken to me about mental illness. Not one person had ever brought the topic up. And when I spoke about it, nobody really wanted to listen. They'd quickly change the subject. When I would tell someone, oh, I'm suicidal, oh, I don't feel really well, I kind of want to die, people would either change the subject, or they'd say, oh, you'll be right, just think positive, or, oh, why don't you just do something that you enjoy doing and you won't be so sad. Well, it's not that simple. There's something wrong with my brain. It doesn't work like other people's brains do. I need medication to fix that, and I needed a whole lifestyle overhaul, because I realized seeing your doctors, your therapists, taking your medication, it's not enough. It really isn't. Because everything that you do in your life and that happens to you and that you put into your body has an effect on your body and your brain. So the only way I was going to achieve the level of recovery that I wanted and the lifestyle that I wanted was if I dealt with every single part of my life. And that meant I had to cut out a lot of toxic people. It meant that, I had to make many, many sacrifices and positive life choices and deal with, negative coping mechanisms if I wanted to enjoy my life again. And that's really what I wanted. And I think for the first time in my life, I am starting to enjoy my life again. And it's amazing. It's a really awesome, freeing feeling. I accepted my illness. I accepted that this is the hand that I've been dealt in life. No matter how it happened, what happened, who was to blame, who was responsible, that doesn't matter. Getting to the bottom of the why never really matters, because the end result is the same. This is something that I battle every second of every day. I am never going to be cured. There's never going to be a time when I can let my guard down. because I'm going to have to fight this every second of every day. And that's what I want to do with this YouTube. I'm going to use it as a video blog to, I guess, show you what my life is like, what it's like to live with a mental illness. And I've been doing the same thing on my Instagram at _bipolar _Barbie. And I've had really amazing feedback. So I'm really excited to be able to, add another dimension to the experience, because I think there's a lot of things that I can't put into words or just a photo. There's a lot of things that you're probably going to see on this feed that are going to be tough, and they're going to be really tough for me to share. But I think the biggest problem with mental illness is that everyone makes you feel like there's something wrong with you. Like you're alone, that you're the only person in the world who seems to struggle with being happy, that you're the only person that's, fucked up. But the truth is, everyone's fucking crazy. We're just different types of crazy. And I own crazy. I accept that that's who I am. And people say to me, oh, what made you want to speak about your illness so openly and so honestly? And I guess the truth is, it never occurred to me not to. And people say, oh, but you'll be judged for being bipolar, you'll be judged for speaking about your mental health, you'll be judged if you share parts of your life that nobody else should see. What, like you think I should be fucking ashamed for having a mental illness? No, there's no shame in being mentally ill. And I'm sick of people trying to make me feel like I should be ashamed, because I didn't have a choice. I didn't choose this life. And for those of you guys who suffer mental illness, it's the same for you. We didn't choose this life, but we can choose how we deal with it. And I think it's really, really important that we owe it to ourselves to give us the best quality of life possible. There's so much information out there. There's, so much to learn and so many things we can control, despite not being able to control, being mentally ill in the first place. And I think if people are going to judge me for having a mental illness, if people are going to judge me for being bipolar, well, why the fuck would I want to be around them? Why would I want to know them? What good would hiding my illness do if I knew that people would never actually accept me for who I was? And that was half the problem. I was made to be ashamed, to feel ashamed for who I was my entire life. Not anymore. No. Because I will not let anyone make me feel ashamed for being who I am. I am who I am. And you know what? Maybe there are people out there who like who I am too. Like, I hope to find them. But if they don't, fuck. They didn't even like me when I was pretending to be someone else. I was trying to be who they wanted me to be, and they still didn't accept me. So if they're going to reject me for being different, I might as well just be different.